We are here on the NAB show floor 2026, talking with Aaron Jester from the University of Utah, Matt Alvarado from Diversified. I am Matt from Diversified. We've entitled the Ask the Experts panel, but let's be honest, no one's an expert. We have experience. We think we have a lot of experience to bring to the table here. But I think it takes all of us, the whole group, to be experts at anything. And I think we'll just go around the table and start with our background and experience. Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, so Aaron Jester, currently work at University of Utah as the EIC, and I lead the broadcast production team. Started at University of Oregon, working on the production team there, EIC, and then moved to Utah in 2019. Currently working on a project with these guys. The main impetus for that was our membership to the Big 12. Had a big production requirement that previously was all managed by the Pac-12. And so it's been a great process, and we're really excited for getting things turned on and doors open.
Matt Alvarado spent at least 6 years in the collegiate market, leading control rooms and facilities. Now working with Matt and the Diversified team to lead designs for sports side of the market.
Yeah, and I'm Matt George. I was previously at the University of Arizona, so all three of us have university experience. I think that's one of the things that we can really bring to the table. I left there in 2019 as the assistant athletic director for video and IT. The reason I left to join Diversified is I found that I liked building control rooms more than any other part of the job. And so I get to do that day in and day out with guys like Aaron, with Matt previously. So that's our experience. I think we're well suited to deliver to the college market. First, Aaron, you want to talk about the process that we're in right now, how we got here, and what you're hoping to get out of it?
Yeah, I mean, college campuses are a very unique scenario where we have 5 or 6 facilities that we're trying to do productions out of. And one day we could be at one venue, the next we're at another. So, the initial question is always baseband or 2110. And for us, it made sense to make the leap into 2110. Right now in the process, we did a design with these guys, put together a really good package, and construction's pretty much done. System integration's about to really kick off, and we're really excited about where things are going.
I guess Matt first, and then Aaron, can you talk about your production requirements? What makes college production today different than it was previously, and then different than any other part of this industry?
Yeah, I think college productions are a unique case because the demands are so high. Like Aaron said, there's so many events, so many sports, so many different venues. You can be doing multiple shows a night that are across campus, different sport, different requirements. So I think over the years, as the college market keeps taking off and the use of school production control rooms keeps growing, the demand is going to get higher. A lot of times, ESPN is relying on these universities and colleges to now produce 90 to 95% of the shows for them. So we're going from the OB truck market now to centralized production facilities. Really grows the need for staff, flexibility, and really just the versatility of what we build and design for these universities now.
So Aaron, how are you doing it right now? Right, so we're building the room.
Yep.
You'll be online this summer. What are you doing right now to make this happen?
Yeah, so right now our current operation is we have one control room that is historical, is about 15 years old. It's a bit tired. As our membership to the Big 12, we have broadcast requirements, and so we partnered with Dome Productions and have been renting a truck for the last 1.5 to 2 years. It's been a great partnership, but as everybody knows, trucks are not cheap, and with it being a college campus, there's plenty of students who are interested in the industry and want to get involved. Having a broadcast truck, while has been great, makes it hard for training outside of broadcast days. And so, we're excited about being able to open the doors to the facility that is a part of an academic building. There's a huge engagement on the academic side and the university level to really start growing a broadcast journalism program and figuring out the best way to serve our student body on campus.
It's a great segue. So in order to teach these students with the truck right now, not a knock on a truck, but in order to make that truck affordable, are you looking at a truck? Are you using a truck right now that's modern generation equipment? Or are you past generation, or are you 2 generations old?
2 to 3 generations old, I guess. I mean, the truck is great. Dome is an awesome company. It does everything we need, but we're excited to get, the newest toys on the market, right? I think, and really be able to teach students on a non-event day, right? I mean, that's the vision, is really get students involved, because right now on our broadcast shows, most of the crew we use are freelancers, and they are also expensive, and it's the cost of doing business, and we knew it, and we're looking forward to getting more and more students involved as things develop.
So as we're talking about moving from a truck into the room, Matt, if you can talk about some of the broadcasts that you were part of when we built the room a couple of years ago for Texas. When I'm watching a Texas basketball game on ESPN on a Saturday, where's that produced from? Who's doing that production?
So, like I said earlier, a lot of these universities now, and ESPN relies a lot on these school control rooms to do the production. So when I was at Texas, a lot of these, I'm going to say 99% of the shows we did came out of the centralized production control room we built. And not only was that control room being used for the national broadcast, but it's also being used for the in-venue show. So they're being produced by the school staff, full-time staff, as well as sometimes being brought in by ESPN. ESPN will send some producers and directors that do the show from there. But schools like Texas and some of those places that I've been at, the staff is almost 75% students. And if in some cases, if not almost 100% students. I know Texas A&M, where I came from, I went to school at Texas A&M and worked there for full-time for 2 years. Students, it was 100% student ran. So students staffed every single position, from mixing to switching, and the full-time staff directed and produced, I'm going to say 99% of the games.
Aaron earlier used the word toys when talking about new equipment. I think we're all in this industry because we enjoy what we get to do. We're excited for new things. To us, they are toys, right? We get to come to work and play, right? But it's also equipment. It's production level equipment. We're doing these things, but we're talking about training students to use equipment that we think is really cool. We're excited about. We're excited to teach and train, which is a huge part of this. But also talk about some of these students that you're excited to have them do a broadcast and call their parents before and say, I'm going to be the one directing this show, or I'm going to be TDing the show. I'm going to be on this camera. Make sure you look for me. How excited are you for that opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, right now we have a small group of students that we've been using and seen a lot of success in their ability to learn and their passion about really being a part of what we're doing. I think being able to grow that student interest and student engagement is going to be awesome. And the more students we can bring on, it's better for the industry. It's better for the market in Salt Lake. We got the Utah Mammoth last year. They're just finishing up year 2. I mean, I think Salt Lake as a whole is ready for that next influx of young professionals looking to get into the broadcast industry. So we're just excited about the opportunities that we'll be able to present to the students.
I'm going to add on to that, Matt, because I was that student that called home after my parents said, hey, I watched the game. It was a great game. I was like, hey, I'm the one that mixed that game. And so being able to be the one now on the other end designing these spaces for students to go and learn and to go back home and to say, hey, I did that. Not only is it the pride about having students come up and learn, but it's also teaching the next generation of workforce. I mean, these students are going to graduate, they're going to enter the workforce, and they're going to work with us alongside us. And so not only do we want to provide the facility for them to learn and grow for their education purpose, but to grow the industry. The industry, I think, is in a shift right now where we need younger people to come in and start taking over roles. And I think places like University of Utah and other universities that are building these facilities designed and focused on students is really nice, because again, they're going to go, they're going to learn, they're going to get real life experience. And a couple of years, they're going to be sitting up here at this table with us, and we're going to be talking about what they're doing and how they're growing.
I think that commonality, all three of us were student employees in our school's athletic departments, and we've come up through that. So we have that experience from that level up. And I think that's really important for the conversations.
Yeah.
When we're talking about these conversations, there's lots of equipment. A lot of companies do great things. We're not going to focus on anyone and how they do things, but talk through kind of what you're excited for, what features, what tools, what opportunities you're excited for as you grow to deliver these multi-facility productions.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing we're most excited for is really industry standard equipment, right? I mean, I think and you know, some high frame rate options, you know, updated replay systems, you know, full audio. I mean, we've been band-aiding some things and making things work for what we need to, but excited for really being able to take our productions and our broadcasts to the next level, and giving those and providing those opportunities to the students to learn on, and equipment that they'll be able to learn on equipment that once, you know, next year when they go into a truck, they'll see the exact same stuff. And I think being able to give them the opportunity to learn on equipment that they will see in the real world is key.
Yeah, and I think that we're only growing in the industry. Everyone has these production requirements. When we're talking about multi-facility production, you've got a central facility that we're building into on campus, a great partnership with that department on campus to share that space. But now we're going to be sitting in a control room in one building on campus, producing a soccer or a softball or a baseball game. That's a distance to travel. How are you planning and anticipating supporting both sites at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, you know, our campus IT team is installing a lot of fiber. Everything will be coming back to our central equipment room, and so, you know, inherently we are doing a REMI production on campus, right? It's the same operation as you know, the ESPN Remy's are doing to an extent, but I think the benefit is we can just hop in a golf cart and zip across campus if we got problems. And you know, that's how we're approaching it, and trying to make sure that we have the ability to pivot from one facility to the next day after day is key too, right? Scalability and flexibility.
So how are you going to pivot? How are you going to get cameras and all these connections from one facility to the next quickly?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna our plan is to get a powerful gator, or, you know, ATV and a trailer, and students and our staff will be transporting equipment back and forth as needed, and you know, we're still trying to figure that part out right now, but that's the plan.
Yeah, so that's the equipment that's got to move.
Right.
What about the signals? Matt, talk through what we did at Texas and what we're planning to do for Utah to swing a production from one facility to the other without having to go out and repatch fiber.
So, like I mentioned earlier, the college market and the university side is just so demanding. There's so many. I mean, you probably do over 100 games a year.
Yeah.
Being to go from 100 games a year to switch, it's a lot of work to go back over to a patch bay and go start patching all these fibers everywhere. So when Matt and I were working on Texas, I said, Matt, I don't want to work on fiber patching everywhere else. And he said, well, have you looked at a fiber optics? Which I was like, nope, let's start looking into that. So we went to the deep dive and started looking, and we found that there's a way where we can actually sit at a computer and actually switch all our venues and go from baseball one day to softball the next day. And really just a click of a button and we're online there. So when we started working with Aaron at the University of Utah on his project, I was like, hey, you know, like, what if we found some efficiencies and we put in a fiber optic switch? And so we started exploring them. We found that not only does it reduce operational costs, because now you or your team isn't having to go patch fiber, you're not having to go hire a freelancer to help do these things, but it's also reliability. You're not unpatching and getting fiber optic strands dirty. It's all mechanical inside of the chassis base, so it's less downtime, less manpower, and just you get to focus on other things. Focus on teaching the students. Focus on the more key components of the broadcast rather than finding down and chasing down fiber strands and
Yeah,
troubleshooting.
and an optical fiber switch is pretty expensive, right? We found, but we figured out a way to make room, move around things in the budget, and that kind of brings up on cost. With this kind of model, you have an influx of dollars right now, and you know there's going to be an operational cost. But as far as making decisions right now and the focus, are you focusing on making sure you get the big iron right now, and then add as you need? Are you going to get another influx of cash? How are you expecting to service this system moving forward?
Yeah, so right now we're the facility is 2.5 control rooms. We have a space allocated for a third full linear space. We actually had you guys pull all the cabling there. So the you know, the vision and the hope intent is that in the next, you know, let's say 2 to 3 years, we'll get another set of funding to build out that additional space and really expand the educational opportunities that we're going to have for the students, and you know, be able to capitalize on the opportunities that we have.
And we've done this enough. We know that you can't future-proof anything, but we've also got the experience to see what we have been asked to upgrade over the years. So I think that third full PCR is a good example. It's fully engineered.
Right.
All the cables are pulled, labeled, landed there, ready.
Right.
Yes, you might have some equipment change here and there, but you should be able to just drop it in, turn it on, commission it, and go.
Yeah.
Not go through a full new redesign phase, not have to pull cable. The cable pathway is already pretty full, right? We're not in ceiling tiles anymore.
Yeah, right.
We're not crossing an active controller to make that happen. And hopefully you can get the budget to make that happen.
Yeah.
On the 2110 discussion, you mentioned that it was just kind of a no-brainer to go to 2110. This year is kind of the first year that we've seen that the first generations of systems that were put in, the early adopters, are now being replaced. So we can call it a mature technology at this point. What are you most excited about, and what are you most apprehensive about?
You know, I think excited about the flexibility, right? I mean, I think there's some benefits to the 2110 ecosystem, and really being able to capitalize on those and utilize the tools that we'll have available. I think the concerns is it's a bit of a new technology for me. So ensuring stability and reliability is, you know, I know with a baseband system, I can run a cable from here to there. It's not quite the same with a 2110 system, but you know, we've talked quite a bit and extensively about ensuring reliability and making sure that we have a good plan for that. So I feel like we're in a good spot.
Yeah. Matt, as a customer that took SDI systems as a customer and brought them into 2110 and then took ownership of 2110 systems, is there anything you have that Aaron needs to know? Any surprises that you learned along the way?
I think one of the biggest things I learned is, like you said, it's the SDI world, the baseband world. We run and we go plug a monitor and we look at a signal. I think one of the biggest things, and I think we've talked about this a lot, is as you start transitioning to this new technology, you have to reshape your mind on how you troubleshoot. It's not run and go, because you're going to go run and unplug a fiber that has, in your case, you're at 3G space, 32 signals going down there. It's thinking about, okay, where is the problem at, and really kind of taking a step back to really process your workflow. And I think this is something that Matt and I are going to do with you. And we're going to sit down and teach you your workflow. And Matt does a really good job of teaching the steps of, okay, this is how your system's architected and designed. This, when you're troubleshooting, this is the first step you should go look at. Matt, I'm going to toss back to you. You've done a lot of MLB stadiums and pro sports venues and colleges, and you've taken a lot of systems from baseband to 2110 and worked with all different levels of clients from different knowledge spaces. How do you find a design and systems that work with them and teach them and help them grow into the new space? What have you found that works well to make people feel comfortable to take on new challenges?
Yeah, it really is a paradigm shift going from a baseband system to a network-based system. I think the first part is just trust, right? That we've shown that we've done it before. We can talk through, but we don't hide anything. We've had problems. We've had systems that we've had to tackle. We've had systems we've got to go back for whatever reason, and really dive in and learn. And we've learned from that. As far as the customer goes, yeah, we can't give you a set of schematics because it's just showing you ports, right? If we look at a spine switch, to Matt's point, a 100 gig port at 3 gig, you can get 32 in, 32 out. So a schematic's going to tell you this device is plugged into this device, but it doesn't tell you anything about how to troubleshoot it, right? So there is a huge component of learning, and what we found really successful is bringing you in during the commissioning phase, having you be part of how the system's built. Through the design phase, we've been very collaborative. We haven't taken your ideas, gone to ground, come back and say, here, we're done. We're constantly on the phone talking and working together, and we've built that discussion and that time into this process. So here we are. We have our crew on site right now. We had another delivery today of equipment to Rack and Stack. We're unboxing. We're going to power stuff up in a couple weeks. So we can't say we're done, but we're excited and we're confident that we're going to be ahead of schedule, having you train way early and be part of this process. So rolling that back, as a university, you had to go through an RFP process, right? So you had to go out and bring a lot of companies in, and there's a lot of companies that can do a good job at this. What were you looking for in a partner for this process?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were looking for somebody who was going to take a collaborative approach and somebody who had great experience and success doing this at the collegiate level, right? Because as we talked about earlier, college campuses are different than an MLB stadium or an NBA arena. There's a lot of, different politics. And so somebody who's navigated all of those was a priority for us, and making sure that they would be able to be dynamic and flexible, and ready to, pivot as needed with those challenges.
Yeah, and I think that's really what's worked well with Matt and I on a team delivering this, is that we both worked on college campuses. We've had our own experience with those politics. They're all different and unique, but there's commonalities there. And we know that at the ultimate level, there's the whole university, and athletics be a big part is not the only part of a university. So being able to play well with others, right? This isn't our sandbox. And to set you up for success where we haven't left any landmines. We're not planning it intentionally. But as we're kind of talking through this at the university level, this is great. The partnership level isn't just with us. It's with the rest of campus. We're working with campus IT on the fiber. We're working with the other entities that operate the building and that are going to support you guys. And I've seen that as a great part. And while I love working in the pro space, having come up through the college market, I'm just so excited to be back and working on this. It's exciting. It's fun for me. I love the time that we get to show up in a couple weeks and start turning stuff on and see lights blink in the right pattern.
Yeah.
And I know we're going to have some late nights scratching our heads troubleshooting stuff, and I know we're going to be able to deliver a system that ultimately executes what you want. But as we're getting into this next phase here, how are you going to bring in others as a broadcast engineer owning the system? How are you going to bring in others so that they can feel like they've got a part of the process from delivering to turning on to ownership of the system?
Yeah. There's 6 others on my team. They will all be a part of this process as we start turning things on. And we have some freelancers that work with us as well that we will probably bring in along the way and training and commissioning, just to make sure that they can also take some ownership and buy-in to be a part of it. We have a lot of loyal freelancers who want to see this succeed, and they're ready to jump in, and we're excited about engaging all those people.
Awesome. Matt, what part of this process are you most excited about now, coming over to the integration side, having been a customer and a university engineer, pro sports stadium broadcast engineer?
I think the thing that I'm most excited about is every project is different. We built what we did at Texas, and I think the beauty of 2110 is every system can be built to the specific needs of the stadium or the university. What we did at Texas was great. I loved it. But I think what we're doing at Utah is a little different. It's made for the University of Utah. It's made for how they're set up. It's made for the people using it. I mean, I think with the 2110 system, you have to get very intimate with what you're doing. You have to buy into the process. You have to want to show up every day and learn more, because a lot of this stuff is now software based, and a lot of these manufacturers do a good job of what you have today is a set of features. But oh, by the way, we're at NAB right now. There's going to be new releases in a couple months. And how do we work to essentially integrate those and keep building onto the system? I think that's the beauty of what we do with these clients is not one is the same, and as we go, everything's going to be different, and the venues are different, the way they're set up, and just the approach to teaching. I think teaching is a very key component in the university space. It's a key component to what we do, but we all do it a little bit differently, and just the beauty of watching it grow. We're gonna have we walked into a space. I was there when we did the bid process, and that room was an old dated production space that was based for teaching, and now we're revamping it all, and it's now maybe 20 years later.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a whole different set of process. It's going to be doing multiple shows at a time. It's going to be doing things that back then 20 years ago we thought we'd never do. So
yeah. So what do you see? What do you see in 3 and 5 years for this space? What do you expect?
Yeah, I mean, I think the development of the academic side and student engagement and trainings, and right now we do about 200 productions a year. I can see us doing weekly coaches shows, news broadcasts, pre-half post shows for our events. I mean, sky's the limit on how we use this, and the space is, like Matt said, the building was built in '94. They did an expansion at one point. The equipment that was in there was archaic at best, but the bones are, you don't build buildings like that anymore, right? I mean, we have cinder block walls all over the place, which are great for sound dampening, and I think really revitalizing all of that space and making sure we're taking full advantage of what we have. I think 5 years from now, it's going to be great. And the other huge part of this is 2034 Olympics coming to campus, right? Open closing ceremonies will be on the University of Utah campus. We're looking at making sure that we're set up to present opportunities for anybody who's interested in use of our facility.
Yeah. So, like I said, we don't think that there is anything called future proofing. But because we've seen it, we've done this. Matt, we had towards the end of your project at Texas, we had some opportunity to add some cool toys and features at the end there. So we're pre-provisioning space in your racks for the next of the next thing. There's stuff that we don't know, but there's a lot that we do. What's the next thing that you want to add to this system?
I think getting that third full linear control room to really capitalize on the education side. I think one huge benefit to having that space would be a side-by-side mirror broadcast where students can be sitting in that control room, taking all the feeds from our ESPN broadcast or a CBS Sports broadcast that we're doing out of our main linear room. They do their own broadcast using the feeds, listening to the director calls, replay operators, graphics. We could, having our own talent, just that third control room will really present the opportunities that we're looking for our students.
And I'm glad we're provisioning for it and we'll have that for growth.
Yeah.
I'm excited for what's next. Every year presents a new opportunity. Even here at the show, everyone's got some sort of upgrade, some new things, of course, lots of teases of future things. We're delivering what's right here, right now, and we're pretty excited for that. We have an audience. Is there any questions in the audience? Any heckling? Opportunities for constructive or unconstructive feedback?
I have one question for you. So your space is being built in the communications building.
Yeah.
how is it going to be leveraged outside of sport and events for the daily classes and teachings? Has there been communication about what you're going to be doing? Are y'all going to be supporting that space?
We're still working through that. I think
Yeah.
it's a bit of a moving target right now, and I think once we get into summer and start, schedules have more or less been set, and so we have a little bit of an idea. But as I mentioned, the Department of Communication, they've been a great partner. They're going to continue to develop what the vision is, and it's going to be a collaboration. And so we're gonna figure it out. It's gonna be a learning curve for everybody, but we're excited for that partnership.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. Thank you everyone for coming.